Hey guys, how are ya? Welcome to the stream. Cheers. A little grape juice today. No question about that. All right. Let's see. DV Dragon. Stefan, how are you Canadians holding up under COVID? Are you guys still in full or partial lockdown? How are people psychologically holding up? Yeah, we're in partial lockdown here where I am in Quebec, which is the French province, and in Ontario, the other big province, they're in full lockdown. And I think Quebec's going to go in full lockdown pretty soon. People are starting to get pissed about this whole lockdown thing. And so that's what's going on here. We had some major, I don't know if it was major, we had people protesting in the streets downtown yesterday, and a bunch of arrests. They're now saying they want people to wear masks outside now. Unfortunately, this whole thing with the COVID is very political now. I don't think a lot of decisions are made based on... everybody's got a different opinion, including the professionals, including the doctors. So, I don't know. It is what it is. I think we're in a home stretch. I think the biggest problem we had is up here in Canada. The federal government really did a bad job rolling out the vaccine. We're literally the worst of the G7 nations. So, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We rolls with the punches. All right. They say holy month of Ramadan has begun. Okay, well, I don't know what the proper etiquette is to say, but enjoy your holy Ramadan month. Do you think Java 17 will be a game changer? I don't know. I'd have to look at it. I have a friend of mine who's a Java startup. He said it's a bit harder to find clients and they are very expensive. Talent, yes. He said it's quite difficult and expensive for him to add members to his team. Yeah, that's why I wrote a lot of Java code back in the day, but I would never use Java today to start a new app. Simply because A, the Java developer is expensive. B, Java is very verbose, and it takes a lot of code to get anything done, as AJ was saying. That's the problem with Java. It's a great language. It's clean. It works well, but it just takes a lot of code to do anything. That's the problem. Dula says, hello, chat. Hope everybody's having a great day. I hope so, too. Yeah. Thanks for joining the chat, by the way. Appreciate it. No, the stream, rather. Cheers. I'm trying to do regular streaming every day now. Now I do the nighttime for North America and maybe Australia, get people early in Australia, and then I do an early afternoon on my time so I can reach people in Europe and Africa. I got a super chat, all right. I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you very Jorg Asmussen. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Hope you are staying safe, Steph. We're just exiting a 3-month-long lockdown in UK. Congratulations. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Steph ASMR channel coming soon. Yeah, I like that video. That's me, and that's Maine. I shot that a year or so ago in Maine, which is one of my favorite places. I like the ocean. Different time zone. I like it. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to shake it up because I knew some people that could never get on this live because it was like 4 in the morning for them or 3 in the morning. So that's why I'm doing one early, one late, so everybody has a chance to get on. Step, I hope you do not get the J&J vaccine. It has a dangerous side effect. I heard some people say it. Don't worry. The way Canada is working, I won't get my vaccine until 2024. So don't worry. We'll figure out all the bugs at that point. Hey, Matthew, how are you doing, dude? I hope you got your IPA or whatever it is. Cheers. Water, coffee, tea, IPA, grape juice, whatever you like. Let's just relax. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Good evening from Florida. Cool. Yeah, everybody. I know where some of you guys are. I'm getting to know some regular faces here. But say Matthew Smith from San Diego, etc., etc. Kevin from Florida. I'm always interesting. I think it's good for everybody to see where we are all from. Do you know a good cheap hosting services I might need to shut down my portfolio site? There's a lot out there. InMotion is one of my older sponsors. I don't know how, you may want to check them out. Yeah. Any tip on learning curve of React.js as a front-end developer? Any tip? So are you having trouble learning it? If you are, maybe it's because you need to work a little bit on your fundamentals of JavaScript. That might be a plan. I don't know. So let me just jump into I have another Quora article here. We'll read it. We'll do some commentaries, and then I'll do a lot more Q&A, and we can get back into it. So let me get into it here. So he says, why is Java not famous among startups? This is a 219 article, and this is from a developer who's been coding since 2014. So he's pretty experienced. There are two kinds of startups: the kind that knows what they are actually doing, have a clear technological vision about how to do what they do, and if Java fits into their use case, which actually isn't that hard, Java and the JVM plus the ecosystem is a powerful and versatile beast. This is all true. They simply use it regardless of what is cool and hip right now. Then you have the other kind, he says, the kind that simply wants to ride out the current startup investment bubble. They maybe not necessarily have more or less sound business model, but their primary focus is VC money, and if they are lucky, an exit strategy. If you want VC money, you mostly need to throw the latest and coolest buzzwords around to attract most VCs you can get, e.g. AI, IoT, vegan, organic, paleo food consulting chatbot. I like this. This is good. This guy's funny. I haven't read these before. I don't read these before getting on, so you get my honest reaction. Powered by functional event source serverless microservices. Java is simply not one of the coolest and hippiest buzzwords anymore. It gets things done, but it doesn't get you VC money just because you mention it. So it's not suitable for these kinds of startups. So let's see what the comments have to say here. Somewhat. Infrastructure keywords, Java, JavaScript, PHP, Ruby, Redis, Scala, etc., representing startup stacks were fed into a classifier trying to predict /fail or exit. Java and PHP were strongly negative correlated with startup success. Scala, Redis, etc. were positively correlated. JavaScript was in the middle, i.e. no information. What the hell is that all about? Okay, that must be a joke. You forgot blockchain. It's a vegan, organic, paleo, blockchain-powered consulting chatbot. Thank you very much. I think I'm going to start this startup. That's a good startup right there. That's it. That's where I'm going next. I didn't know this was coming up, guys. Good Lord. Google, Facebook, GitHub, Reddit, Spotify, SoundCloud, and so many other startups in the past, and none of them chose Java. Almost all of them use the things that were hip at the time, either Python, Ruby, PHP. Neither did they catfish the VCs with AI-driven IoT buzz-powered. VCs couldn't care less about the tech stack that drives the technology. That is not exactly true. I know from experience, not with my own startups because I'm a bootstrapper, but good friends of mine they're in the startup game and they're very experienced. They don't care about the stack. Yeah, he's right. Okay, they don't care about the stack, but they care about the technology. They will literally do the VCs. They will literally do technology audits to make sure that your code base and your tech is sound before they invest big money. So, yeah. Reading your answers as a whole, I get the impression that not Java somewhat equals trendy but unprofessional to you. I would argue that things are a little more complicated than that. It takes time to learn and get efficient at programming in a language, and it's certainly worse in the case of Java compared to Python or Ruby, for example. Don't use Ruby. But resource consumption of your infrastructure is also a concern, and preparation of development environment is too. The boilerplate that a language such as Java brings to it is a no-go for people who get distracted. I am one of them, etc. at the end of the day, there are so much concerns about producing something with Java. Let me try that again. At the end of the day, there are so much concerns about producing something with Java, but I wonder how could one ever even consider prototyping in such a language? And from my understanding of things, a startup is merely a prototype company, so there is that. Yeah, JavaScript has become enterprise, and when I think of Java, I think of 1990s Microsoft, and it's cringeworthy. When I think and develop Python, I think outcomes which are secure, completed in a reasonable time and less space. All right, that's enough of that. So, let me give you my 2 cents. I've been coding since the 1990s, and I have a love of Java, though I would never start a startup with Java these days because it is verbose, it is long-winded, it is extraordinarily difficult relative to other languages. Not that it's super difficult to set up your environment, to get everything going. It's become like a bureaucratic language. That's the way of describing it. It's like a bureaucratic language. Whereas if you go with Python or PHP or JavaScript, you can get things done in a fraction of the time. So yeah, I would not be writing a startup with Java. It's just too slow to write with. And one of my rules is that write time speed, meaning how quickly you can develop something, is much more important than runtime speed. And that point that somebody made about how when you're prototyping, you just want to get it out quick and dirty, that's exactly how it is with startups. There's an illusion amongst junior developers that you're going to, or junior entrepreneurs or tech entrepreneurs, there's this illusion or this thought that you're going to come up with the perfect business idea or the perfect app idea. The fact of the matter is it doesn't work that way. You come up with an idea and then you implement it quickly and then you figure out all the things you got wrong. And that's inevitable. There's no, I don't know any example where they got it right the first time or the second time or the fifth time or the sixth time. There's a lot of iterations and pivoting in a startup environment, whether you're bootstrapping or doing VC. As such, the more nimble the language is, the more quickly you can produce something that's workable, the better off you are. It's all about iteration. It's all about cycle, fix. Java is too slow. It's just too slow. Remember, when Java came out in the 90s, its thing was that it was fast. Compared to technology that had been there prior, it was a big leap up in terms of productivity. Well, and eventually, other things surpass it. So there you go. So that doesn't say that there's not a lot of Java work. Of course there's a lot of Java work. But a lot of it, I would imagine, is legacy code, meaning old code bases. So I hope that helps. That's my comments on Java. We'll see if anybody else has any other comments. If you like this stream, there's 87 of you, so we're building up still. Please give me a thumbs up. It's good for the algorithm, so hit that thumbs. I would appreciate it. Yeah, so let's go on. Arjun says, hey from London, hope you're well. I'm doing fantastic. Hope you're well too. I heard you guys are coming out of lockdown. Somebody just mentioned on the chat, so that's good. Cheers, welcome. What do you think of using JavaScript for full stack instead of PHP JavaScript? It works. If you want to go Node and Express, I think those are the most, I think Express is the most popular backend MVC for JavaScript. Why not? They're all good. Appreciate the thumbs up, guys. It's just good for the algorithm, I just ran out of grape juice. That's no good. Listen, you got to have your grape juice ready for the streams, See, I don't drink. I'm not a drinker. But COVID, what else can I do? I drink. Do you know, we got that one. All right. Once again, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. When are your pro courses coming out? I'm looking forward to them. Very soon. Anybody who basically when you buy a course from me, you get access to them for life and the updates. So if you buy the HTML foundations, Python foundations, etc., you will get the pro versions. The reason, so if you get them now, the pro versions are wrappers. You're going to have basically the foundation course, which are still 100% up to date, and more than enough. Lots of people, you can check out my reviews. Go to Google, type in Studioweb Montreal, and you'll see all the reviews. There's fantastic, everything you need there. Very comprehensive course. I think they're probably the most comprehensive courses out there, period. Hundreds of video lessons and all the quizzing. But I'm adding some extra components into this. Some of this tech extras are going to get a little bit into ES6 and some other stuff, and a little bit of PHP 8. But there's also stuff about in terms of business orientation. I'm going to talk a bit about refactoring, which you've watched my streams. You know, if you want to know what book to get the refactoring book. This is the Java version. There's a JavaScript version. If you do Python, the JavaScript version will be fine for you. If you do PHP, the JavaScript version will be fine for you. This is going to up your game a lot. Links below, of course. And if you're a total beginner to development and you want to start getting into code, there's my book. Highly regarded. Get both of these on Amazon's link below, Amazon.com, UK, CA, and around the world. This is my book. I wrote this a few years back, but it's still evergreen because I teach HTML5, CSS3, and everything I teach in here is 100% up to date. So you'll be fine. All right. Thumbs up, everyone, or 2 thumbs down. Exactly. I thought Java Spring made it easy for startups. Well, I haven't looked at Java Spring. Well, not in a long time. But it's lighter than the previous frameworks, but it's still nothing. Nothing is faster than developing something with JavaScript, or Python, or PHP, or Ruby for that matter. As you're 169 years old, should you get the vaccine first? Well, you figured, but I think once you get over 110, they put you at the back of the line. That's the problem. Did you visit lighthouses in Maine? No, I did not. I should have. I just went to the shore, Miriam M., how are you? Where I worked until 12/31, a company with fewer than 50 employees, 6 employees had COVID and 3 employees had relatives who died from COVID. Wear your mask and shut up about it. Wow. There you go. New comp sci, lots of gems on this channel. New to comp sci, lots of gems on this channel. California. Hey, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. Matthew Smith from San Diego. Hello from Atlanta. All right, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining the stream. From Palm Springs, California. Rob from Arizona with the big thumbs up. What do you think? Let me get this a little bit bigger here. All right. Devin Parker, what do you think of using JavaScript for full stack instead of PHP and JavaScript? I read that one. Okay. For some reason, I really like Java for web Spring more than Django Node. You said before that you'd never use Java for new projects today, but should I? It's just. Don't get me wrong. I love Java, but I just find that it takes a lot more time to develop an application due to the nature of Java. That's it. It's a lot more code to write, more configurations, etc. But if it works for you, then use it. There's a lot of jobs in it anyway. So I had to learn Java at university, and it made me hate it. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. Do hit the like button. Hey, Stefan, greetings from Athens, Greece. Beautiful part of the world. Also, Java's verbosity problem disappears when a good idea. It's true. IntelliJ, a good IDE will help with the verbosity, but there's still just a lot more infrastructure code, I find. I heard that Java is a corporate language similar to C#, so I want a stable job at a large corporation. Then should I learn Java? Yeah, if you want to work at a large corporation, it's either C# or Java. There's no question about that. You get a good stable job at a large corp being a good coder. Indeed you do. And there's going to be plenty of work in Java for many years to come. So don't worry. Every language has a niche, like Python for ML, data science, Is microservices a niche for Java along with Android? I don't know. You can develop microservices in any tech, any language, any server side. Yeah, a lot of Android still being done in Java, but now Google, who controls Android, they're recommending everybody go to Kotlin for speed, and also I think it's for legal reasons. Seems sad to hear from senior Java. Well, like I said, there's plenty of jobs in the Java world. It's just they're going to be an established code bases. Dula says, greetings from Saudi Arabia. Well, Saudi, hey, thanks for joining the stream, dude. Java C#.NET is in demand here, without a doubt. I recently joined your mentoring program to learn JS and Python. As exposure is good, yes. Do you think I could get support with those three if need be? Get support with those three if need be. I'm not sure what you mean. You need support from me? Yeah, well, if you're in the mentoring group, you get support. So, if that's what you mean. Coming from C++, it's fast for me, but I get your point. Yeah, I'm a language agnostic, meaning I think that they all have their places. I think you can produce great apps in any technology, except Ruby, even Ruby. But they also have their flaws. They all have their flaws as well. For example, Java is very, very fast at runtime. Very fast, secure, stable. It's much faster than several other languages at runtime. But it also has its downsides as well. Like C++ is the fastest out there. I think maybe Swift is the only thing as fast as C and C++. But you're not going to be building web apps with C++. You could, but you're not going to do it. It'd take you 10 years to build something. Repeat that, please. I just showed up. Well, you can rewind the stream, and you can get there. You get your answers there. Is Kubernetes a valuable skill to have as a full-stack developer? I consider that a need-to-nerd technology, meaning you learn it when you have a job opportunity, etc. Java was the first language I tried to learn. It made me feel dumb fast. Well, there's a lot more to take in with Java, right? Because it's strongly typed, etc. But now, because you know Python, a little JavaScript, a little PHP, you could probably learn Java much more easily. You can learn Java much more easily now. Would you recommend C# for junior developer over Java? I love your videos. Victor, that's a very good question. I think I haven't looked at C# in a while. I think they're around the same level, What I would suggest, spend 2 weeks learning some C#, see how that goes. And then spend 2 weeks learning some Java and see how it goes. And then from there you can decide which one you prefer. Luis Philippe says, your camera quality is really good. Thanks for sharing all this knowledge. Thumbs up from Brazil. I appreciate that, Luis. Yeah, that's one of my hobbies, videography, to make the video look good. Look at that blurry hand. How many streams look at how incredibly blurry that hand is. That takes years of skill to get blurry hands. Anyway. All right, I just finished learning the basics of my first web framework, Django. Does it get easier after this? Yes, it does. Django, it can be a bit of a challenge. But yeah, the first time you learn to program, the first language is the hardest. The first framework is the hardest. It just gets easier and easier. In time, as you write more code, it becomes second nature. And then you start learning stuff quickly. So good. Congratulations on that, by the way. First time watching live. I'm 25 and learning to code. Do you think it's too late? No, you're a young pup. 25. You're just a kid. Fantastic. And I kind of lost what I can do with coding. I'm kind of lost what I can do. Well, first of all, you can do so much. My recommendation is to learn the web stack because it gives you most opportunities, but you may find yourself doing C, or you may find yourself doing Android development. You may find yourself doing iOS. It's all good. But yeah, just don't give up. On those days you don't feel like learning, spend 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes. As the whole point is frequency of exposure. The more often you can expose your brain to code, the more quickly it's going to adapt itself to thinking like code. When you're learning to code, you're going to be literally rewiring your brain to think in a different way, which will make you your brain much stronger. It's kind of like cross training, right? Cross training gets you in better shape. That's what you're doing when you're learning to code. So yeah, just keep at it, man. For people who are new, I'm going to do a little shameless plug for something free I offer. So what you want to do is it's links below. You want to sign up to my CODER'S career webinar. Basically, sign up. I want people to sign up to my newsletter so I can keep in direct contact, because I hear from so many people they never get notifications from YouTube. Anyway, it's a free 29-minute video. It's going to teach you about what it's like to do C++ in the workplace, what kind of place you might work for, the kind of programming you will do with C++ versus, say, JavaScript, versus Python, versus PHP, versus Java. So it's a great video to watch to give yourself an overview of what's out there and what you might do with it. So I highly recommend you check that out. Links are all below. CODER'S Career Path webinar. It's great for people new to software development. So let me get back here. All right. As a freelance web dev, do you recommend niching down to become an expert in one area, or doing a bit of everything? You're probably going to have to do a bit of everything at first, especially. But in time, you're going to find your niche that's profitable. And then what happens, you become much more efficient. You start developing better workflows. And then your profitability will shoot up. So I don't know. I'm just going to use round numbers for the sake of argument. So maybe you're charging 50 an hour. But then you start going 100 an hour. And then because you're efficient and what used to take you 10 hours to do, you can do in 2 hours. So all of a sudden, instead of making 100 the hour, you're making 500 the hour. I mean, I've seen people, it seems absurd, but trust me, you can do that. I've seen people do on a regular basis who are doing making the equivalent of 300 the hour, which is the equivalent of 600,000 a year on a full-time basis. So yeah, this you got to go with the flow there, you know. Question: would you say is better, Java Swing or JavaFX? Whoa, I don't know. I haven't looked at JavaFX. So I do not have an opinion on that. I've used Java Swing a long time ago. Yeah, this is good advice from Martin. Very cool advice. I'm 30 plus. Oh, best time to learn is now. Exactly. Guys, 30, 25. It's so young. I tell people, I would give everything away that I have, and if I could be 25 or 30 again, I would give everything away. Start at zero, because you have the most valuable asset in the world, and that's time and youth. So don't sweat it, dudes. Arjun says, night Stef, 2:15 a.m. here in the UK. Have a good stream in the evening. Glad I finally caught you live. Hey, Ray, thanks for joining the stream, dude. There we go. Is Angular more important than React? No, I think React's got a much larger market share. I swear Stef looks younger as time goes on. Been watching him since 2016. He looks a few years younger than then. All right. Martin has the comment of the night. Wow, it's like my dating profile. In my dating profile, I'm 19 years old. True. Yeah. Right. How does Linux Ubuntu work on a Windows laptop? Is it better for programming? No, you're fine. They're both good. All the technologies are so mature now, whether it be Windows, Mac OS, Linux, whether it be Java, C#, PHP, JavaScript, Python. They're all so mature now that they all can produce good products. So I wouldn't care. Node versus PHP. Mr. Sambit, I am somebody who defaults to PHP simply because it's very stable, and I know it well. The packages are very stable. I haven't looked at Node closely in years, so I wasn't a big fan of NPM. There's a lot of dependencies, and it was a messy environment. I don't know what it's like today. That said, they're both good. for producing software. So you'd be a good situation there. Hey, Stefan, big fan of your content. All right, well, thanks, Danielle. I appreciate you joining the stream. Cam, I use Java, but for big corporate enterprise e-commerce. Exactly. That's what you're going to do. You do C#.NET, Java, you're doing enterprise, and that's fine. A lot of people want to do that. That's cool, you know. Altash says, Java has powerful capabilities, no doubt. Java has the capability that allows native desktop applications come through a web page and run on computers without installing anything on the hard drive. Yeah? No? Hey, Stefan, is it okay to learn Java for IoT? I'm learning Java, by the way. Why not? If it's implemented, what you got to do is you got to look at the job market out there. See how many people are actually using Java for IoT. That will give you your answer. But again, one of the lessons I try to teach on the YouTubes. Remember, this is from, I've been coding since 1994, so it comes from experience. When you get out there in the real world as a developer, the language becomes just a tool. So you're learning Java now, which is good. And let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, you find that you have to write JavaScript or C# or Python. You'll be able to learn that very easily because like a professional musician who can pick up, if you're a great guitarist, you can play any type of guitar. If you're great at driving high-performance sports cars, whether it's Porsche, Audi, or Ferrari, you're able to drive them, right? So it's a bit of an illusion to be worried about which language you learn. That's a fear that a lot of people have, by the way, in the beginning game. And I think it's partly because YouTube says, you got to learn this. If you learn that, you're in a terrible situation. The example I like to give is PHP. People have been saying for 20 years that PHP is dying, it's dying. It's still one of the top 10, usually in the top 5, most popular programming languages out there today. That's just a fact. So you're okay. Microservices, no. Can you recommend a language for startup web app? Yeah, I would either go PHP with Laravel or Node with JavaScript. Express seems to be the most popular one. Nothing against Java, but I don't like Oracle as a company. There you go. Java's for corporate enterprise apps, period. Yeah, these days, do you own Bitcoin? I actually have some Bitcoin. Believe it or not. Not much, but I have some. It's, yep, a little late to the party, though. That's me. Stefan, I'm running a small business that produces 2 desktop applications, and I'm thinking to hire help. How do you ensure your intellectual property is not stolen? You just hire and pray. Good question. At the end of the day, for most applications, the code base is really, I know as a developer, I know you think it's super valuable, but it's actually the business is more valuable by far because the code can be swapped out. So for example, the current version of Studioweb 5 is a total rewrite from scratch from about a year and a half ago. It's a total rewrite from scratch from Studioweb 3 now, and Studioweb, yeah. So Studioweb 3 was like a very old code base, like 8 years old or something. We rewrote it and threw out the old code, rewrote from scratch. The value of Studioweb is the content, it's all the schools that I deal with, the reputation that it has. So I wouldn't be so worried about the intellectual property. You can have people sign non-disclosure agreements, I suppose, the coders, but it's the business model that's more important. I hope that makes sense. So for example, big example, Apple. At one point, Apple Mac OS was totally replaced, right? Mac OS 9 was Pascal. I think it was written Pascal, the original. And so they had to trash it and write from scratch for OS 10. Totally different code base. So the code base has some value, but the real value in Apple is its brand and its usability and so forth. Would you advise a university student to learn Java EE, J2EE in other languages used in startups? Depends on the type of job. You want to work for enterprise, meaning big corporations. You want to go Java Enterprise Edition is good. C#.NET is good. If you want to do startup, it's probably going to be JavaScript, Python, Ruby, PHP. So it depends on the type of job you want to do. Hey, Stefan, do you think Kotlin is going to totally replace Java over time? Well, maybe with Android development, it will probably supplant it over time. But in terms of where you find the Java jobs in enterprise, I don't think so. No. One thing I don't enjoy with Java is the amount of boilerplate you have to write. Exactly. It's like a tremendous. Oh my God, it's a mess. I know how you feel, man. I originally found out that Spring framework is extremely lightweight. It's just 2 megabytes. Node.js should be ashamed of itself. Laugh out loud. That's the thing. That's why I didn't go with Node, because it's a bit of a mess apparently. Well, it was for us at the time. I haven't checked it out in a couple of years. So Danielle says, "Hey Stefan, big fan of your content. I have some experience working in the ops side of the cloud. I'm trying to put together a few Python projects. Fast API looks interesting. Do you have any recommendations?" Yeah, Danielle, when you're looking to build applications, let the business model and need drive your coding, not your technology. Don't say, I have a great tech, let's make a business around it. You find a business problem to solve and you say, okay, what tech is going to make solving that business problem easier? That's the way to look at it. I hope that makes sense. I think that MFA creative writing programs should teach web app development alongside writing. The first job as an artist is to survive and stay housed. Yeah. I recommend everybody learn to code, even if your end goal is not to be a coder, because it's just such a tremendous skill to have no matter what you do. It's just a very, very valuable skill set and actually trains your brain as well. So it's a good thing. Let me do another shameless plug while I have you guys here. It'll be very quick. So this is my app Studioweb. Is my interactive training platform. It's used by, here's just some of the schools that use it, many more. So this is pretty cool. You can go check it out, studioweb.com. You can even see me on TV here. Anyway, but that's not what it is. So I have a mentoring program, which started about a year ago. Go to studioweb.com/mentoring, link below. You can check that out. This is my most comprehensive training program. I believe it's the most comprehensive training program you're going to find under $20,000 by far. You have lifetime access. You have a community, private community support, private Zoom meetings. You learn pro-level coding in all these different languages. And you learn all the key concepts, hundreds of video lessons, quizzing, interactivity, certifications, job training, resume building, all this kind of stuff. Private mentoring videos, private consultations, freelancing. Check out the reviews. Just check out all the reviews about my material, and you can decide for yourself. So yeah, I invite you to check that out. Studioweb mentoring. I'm doing it because it's a good group, and it's a lot of fun, and you learn a lot. All right. Is it mandatory to master data structures and algorithms in order to get a junior Java developer job in Alberta, Canada? No. In the actual work that you're going to do, data structures will have a minimal impact in terms of the actual work, as will algorithms. You'll do a little bit, even in any fundamental coding course, like my fundamental Python course, my foundation Python, JavaScript, Java. You're learning basic data structures in there. The array is the classic one. It's the most important one, as an example. And you learn basics of algorithms, because algorithm is just operating on data structures. Where it might be more necessary, depending on the interview process, they may have the HR department, especially in larger organizations, which Java would assume a larger organization, they may test you on algorithms. So what you have to do is, when you're looking at a job, you have to find out in advance what they're going to test you on and prepare for that. But I have some friends who they do the testing for job applicants into their business. And he was telling me some of the guys who do the testing will ask for algorithms and data structures, and other people won't. But in day-to-day actual work, especially when you're doing web stuff, data structures and algorithms are like very small part of the game. It's much more about architecture, good coding practices, learning to refactor. Again, highly recommend if you want to become a better coder, get this book. This is the Java version, link below. There's also a JavaScript version which will work for JavaScript, will work for PHP, work for Python. This will level up your game. Refactoring is far more important in my opinion, for the most part. Refactoring and design patterns are far more important than algorithms in my opinion. Hello from Ukrainian in Canada. Hello. Hey, how are you, man? After learning film production at university, I can appreciate your great bokeh. Thanks for the stream, Stef. You understand the bokeh? I have mastered this. I might have the best live stream bokeh in the game, right? Look at that. Fantastic. All right. Thank you for all the time you give us. And did you see the email I sent you? When did you send it? Did you send it today? I would have to see. For me, coding is like a gym, but for the brain. It is, exactly. That's a very good analogy. It's a good practice to learn 2 to 3 languages at the same time. You might be confusing thing. I would like maybe spend 2 weeks or a week and learn one well. And then I know you're probably just a very curious guy or girl, a fandom of the opera. I'm not sure. Probably, I don't know. Probably a guy based on my demo. But then you can just pivot over to the next language because, trust me, you'll speed up the process. Opera, hell no. Hello from New York, Thais Express. Finally here for a live stream. Hey, Danielle, thanks for joining the live stream. Yeah, how we doing? Okay, approaching an hour. I'm going to cut this off at an hour because I'm trying to do more often. Keep them an hour. I say for half an hour, but that's never going to happen. Hello there. Definitely, I can say that coding is getting easier and easier to understand after you master the first coding language, 100%. It took me 2 weeks to make the transition from C++ to Java. So there you go. That's why people shouldn't be nervous about choosing the right language, because you just pivot in a couple of weeks. And that's the second language only. When you get to your third language and your fourth language, it's like this. And it's often people's career that they're going to write different, they're going to be using different languages. Turkey says, Turkey Safwin, I don't know if I said that right. Why Angular is always linked to Java? Would Vue replace Angular using Java? I don't think so, because Angular is enterprise, that's why. Angular is enterprise. Thanks for answering, no problem, Devin. Have you ever done Magento 2? No, I have not. Kelby C says, greetings. Delayed greetings from Wichita, Kansas. Finally on my lunch break. Actually got a YouTube notification for your live stream while watching your replays. Very cool. I think that's what happens. I think you have to be having watched a piece of my content within a certain period of time for YouTube to send out the notification. So yeah. Bafyan says, have you tried Quasar framework for Vue? I've been using it and it's quite nice. No, I haven't, but that's cool. Thanks for letting us know. Alan says, hey, Stefan, do I still need a portfolio for software development if I already have a couple years of professional experience? Will most employers still expect me to maintain and give them a portfolio? No, I think if you got a couple years experience and you got a good resume, I think your portfolio become a little less important. I would have it as a simple website, with your latest, just keep your latest resume up there maybe. But yeah, once you got that experience, then the world is your oyster, as they say, You can either fight or code for the rest of your life and the pay is equal. Which do you pick? If you can either fight or... In all honesty, I wanted to become a professional fighter when I was younger, but I got a pretty bad blood disease when I was either 18. I think it was 18 or 19. I forget now. Anyway, I got a very bad blood disease, which was like a bleeding disease. So you don't want to be a boxer when you have a bleeding disease, and or an MMA fighter. So yeah, I think it's probably a good thing, because 80% of professional fighters have really bad injuries, that stays with them the rest of our lives, whether it be brain damage or otherwise. So I think coding is better because you can make bucket loads of money as a coder without having to be in the top 1% of coders. You know what I mean? Where fighting, it's like it's a crapshoot. That being said, I used to love to fight. Do you find it helpful to design your website on Photoshop first and have a visual idea before you start coding at the page? Yeah, a lot of people like to do that. My designer, who I've been working with for over a decade now, he likes using Photoshop still to do his mock-ups. That's his preferred tool. But so if that works for you, then do it. But people have different approaches. Personally, I just look at. I know what I have, my style that I like. So I know what I like. 2 columns. I have color schemes that I like. You choose a color scheme for your app or your website based on the subject matter, right? So for a wedding dress site, you would be white and pastel colors. You wouldn't have black and yellow and red for a wedding site, unless it was a Gothic site, I suppose. So anyway, there you go. Kotlin versus Java. Kotlin for Android for sure. Java for enterprise work. Is artificial intelligence a hype? Well, I did a video yesterday. You can watch that. Watch it yesterday. Go watch yesterday's stream. I actually graduated last December from college. My major is mechanical engineering, but I couldn't find a simple job. I even applied local Best Buy or Home Depot, so I decided to learn code. There you go. Yeah, coding is the king. Learn to code. It's the king. If you get some coding skills, do 2 to 3 free projects. Given your mechanical engineering background, you should be able to land a job pretty easily. But I'm afraid I'm just afraid the future as a young man. Don't worry about it. You should do my Lizard Wizard course. You'll learn that your brain is actually designed to overemphasize fears irrationally. So don't worry about it. If you look at the statistics, it's actually much safer to live today than it was just in the 90s in terms of violence. Just raw stats. There's less people who are extremely poor today than ever in history of humanity. So things are getting better. Don't let the news with their fear porn freak you out, because they just want to drive clicks. People are sleeping on Spring Boot. Can you please turn up your mic? Is that low for everybody? Is it that low? Let me know. Yeah. I'm getting us. By the way, I'm getting us booster to help with the volume on the mic. My apologies. Hello from Lagos, Nigeria. Very cool, man. Don't say to no to Java because you think you have to buy Java RT from Larry Ellison. Just use OpenJDK. This is true. I have a very large microservice-based solution on OJDK. Oh, so there you go. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll down a bit because I'm finishing off the stream within 5 minutes here. Is building applications with Java worth it? Yeah, go watch the beginning of the stream to get some more detail. Build to get better. They build something complex. In 17, I've learned Kotlin, Python, C#, but the problem is that I have a 32-bit CPU, which IDE or code editor or whatever I can write code. Do you recommend? Because I'm getting crazy. Ooh, yeah, Kotlin, Java. I heard that. What I heard. Microsoft's code editors are really good. They've always been really good. You may want to check out JetBrains for Kotlin. JetBrains, G-A-E-T Brains. They're very good IDE creators. Have you ever considered starting Discord? Yeah, people have been asking for me to do a Discord server. I'm going to set something up for you guys so you guys can get on there. I think Groovy is a good choice for startups. Spring supports Groovy scripting. Yeah. You said it yesterday. Really? Okay, I'll have to take a look for that, man. Sorry. I would love to join a Discord. How can I learn to negotiate salary? You should do my Lizard Wizard course. It's going to help you with your psychology. It's all about psychology. And so you take that course. Maybe I'll do a video on how to negotiate salary. I'll put that up. I'm 19-year-old. I have only a little experience. Oh yeah, you're 19. I have a great idea to build a startup web application. As an experienced coder, can you please give me some advice on that? Pick a light, nimble language like a PHP or a JavaScript or Python, and just build it as quickly as possible. Dirty code. Just get some quick prototype out as quickly as possible so that you can get your application into the hands of the end users, and then see what they say and be prepared to pivot and change your ideas based on the feedback you get. But 19 is a fantastic age to start working on business ideas. Make your mistakes when you're young and fail quick. That's my advice to you. You may want to take my entrepreneur course, which teaches you a whole bunch of stuff based on my experience there. Just a personal finance tip to stop unnecessary spending. If you want to buy something, and it doesn't matter if you buy it today or tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, then it's probably not that important. That's true. Another personal finance tip is don't buy anything on impulse. Wait a week and see whether or not you need it. Where do you think someone can get website templates as a starter for building websites? Just type in on Google website templates. There's many services out there that you can use. What kind of wine is that? It's grape juice. Look at that bokeh. Isn't that amazing bokeh? It's Shiraz, red Shiraz. I may drink a bottle of wine every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks. I know Studioweb uses React. No, it uses Vue. It seems like a server-side rendered as well. Yeah, it's a combo. Thanks for the stream, Stef. Good night from UK. Well, thanks for joining the stream, guys. I just recently finished a coding boot camp as a full-stack software developer. I still feel like I need to learn more, but I lack motivation sometimes. What would you recommend? I would go out there and see if you can do a small job. Maybe, talk to a local business, go on Upwork, whatever. Do 1 or 2 small projects, 2 or 3 actually, for free. See if you can do it. And since it's free, a lot less pressure on you because you're not being paid. And just work out the details. Google's your friend. Stack Overflow is your friend. If you find you're still lost, check out my courses. Check out my mentoring program. All right. Daniel says, is it good to learn coding from books for basics in some areas of specialization, such as machine learning? Yeah, when you're taking in some high-level theory, I find that books are very helpful because you can highlight things and stuff. But when it comes to practical coding, books could be good too. Videos are good too. Studioweb is kind of a hybrid, my Studioweb application. Why do I say it's a hybrid? It's a hybrid because it's both video and tons of quizzing. So all that quizzing, there's literally a book's worth of quizzing in Studioweb. Like I calculated all the words that are in the quizzing, and there's more words in Studioweb application quizzing than there is in this book I wrote. So it's kind of a hybrid and it does both really well. Yeah. Advice on project. Well, you're going to have to give me a little bit more detail than that. All right, guys. Can you guys hear me? How is the sound for you guys? Let me know. Give me a few comments. Sound bad? Sounds okay? I know that for some of you might be hearing some hissing. I'm going to be fixing that soon. Kaim, I'm trying to get a first job, but I'm torn between web dev and data analysis. Any tips? Hooked on the Mishka content lately. I appreciate that. You know what I would do is if I were you, I would recommend doing some reading or watch some videos on people who do web dev and then people who do data analysis, and maybe do the equivalent of Hello World with data analysis. And I don't know how much you know about web dev yet, and do the Hello World and just see what fits you best. They're both good opportunities, you know. Sir Baz says, thanks for your advice. Yeah, no problem. Do more design pattern videos. Yeah, I'm going to cover some design patterns a little bit in the pro courses that are coming out very soon. Stefan, your wife's program, thanks for your advice. No problem, no problem. Stefan Mishuk, your courses are great. I don't think there is a better time now than now. Thank you, and oh, no buzz or static. Okay, cool. Appreciate it. Thanks. I'm glad you like the courses. Thanks for letting me know, and thanks for letting me know about the mic. Whatever you do, guys, whether you're coding or getting in shape or business or doing videos, you always want to up your game a little bit. Always trying to improve, always get feedback. So I appreciate the feedback on this. Jeffrey says, all right, we're over an hour, so I'm going to have to close this up. I am 18. I am learning JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Any advice? I don't like school, but I have to go to college next year. Write code, dude. Just write code. And so you come second nature to you. After you're comfortable with JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, I would go into some server-side coding, whether it be server-side JavaScript with Node or PHP or Python. If you do go to college, don't go into student loan debt. I don't know where you are in the world, so be very careful. Student loan debt is very bad. If you don't know if there's debt involved in going to college and you're not sure what you want to do in college, I would wait. Don't go in there not knowing and spending all kinds of money and getting yourself into big trouble. Just type in student if you're in the US. I don't know where you are in the world. If it's free, then then you can maybe explore. But yeah, don't become a permanent student in college, you know. Although you're really young, 18, you know. I got furniture that's older than you. So, you know, you got a lot of time on your hands. But keep writing code, man. Keep writing code, and don't be afraid to go out there and do some gigs. 3 a.m. from Algeria here. All right, well, thanks for joining the stream, dude. Stef brings the best bokeh every time. It's all about the bokeh, man. Bokeh is king with code, with cinematography. Bokeh and lighting. Right? Look at that. It's level 10 bokeh here. It's perfect bokeh. Okay, it's enough. I'm 35 years old. Am I too old to become a programmer? No, not at all, dude. Not at all, dude. Just jump in. I got our super chat. All right. Hold on. I drink 1.5 bottles of wine in 2 days. What do you recommend so I don't feel like drinking so much? Start exercising, maybe slowly cut it down, spike it with water. It's always a good thing to not become dependent on anything. You know, I'm not saying you're an addict or a drunk yet. I'm not sure if that constitutes that, but I would slow it down and you just slowly, gradually, like I said, you know, if you're drinking wine and, you know, drink less, put it in, if you fill up a glass, put half a glass. You know, so this is like, I pretty much started with this, you know, and mix it up. That's how you break habits. You mix it up. And you form habits by being consistent. I got to see this. Super chat. All right, I appreciate it. Coffee on me tomorrow, Steph. Thanks for all your content. I appreciate that, Mr. FB091448. I appreciate that very much. I like getting the coffees. Sounds fine on my Android. Good. Let's see. I went to his website and only saw foundations courses, which I already bought. My foundations courses will take you to intermediate level coder. I know he has other materials. Yes, I got a bunch of other materials, especially in the mentoring stuff. And I'm releasing updates soon. So what are you guys? What are they guys? Because you keep making mention how good they are. Well, foundation courses cover a lot. Then you can check out the other courses I have in there. And I'm coming up with some the pro level stuff as well. But don't forget, my foundation courses have hundreds of lessons. All right, so we're going. All right. I'm going to have to close this up. Hey, Hey, Steph, you seem so relaxed and chill. Do you have any tips on being more chill? As training, one of the reasons I got chills, and people who are not martial arts may not understand that, is from being a fighter. One of the things I learned, like I'm in the ring, and it's boxing or wrestling or judo, but especially boxing, people are wailing on you, bam, 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 bam. And you gotta stay calm in the ring. You gotta stay calm, and you gotta be collective, boom, 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 so you can be smart. And so the training teaches you to be calm, and it extends in the rest of your life. So, for example, here's an exercise. You do my lizard wizard. It will teach you all this, well, some of this. When you're feeling anxious, you got to counteract that anxiousness with sending your brain signals to stay calm. So slow breathing, for example, being confident, for example. So it all comes into it. You got to train your brain to be calm. That's basically what it is. Yeah, what do we got here? Hey, Arthur, how are you, man? 3 a.m. in the UK. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for joining the stream. You're up late? Can you name specifics for me? I am trying to take his courses too. Can you name the specifics for me? Yeah, just go to the links below. Start exploring. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at stefan@studioweb.com. So thanks a lot for everyone answering me. I got more courage now. Very good. No worries, man. Don't worry about it. Listen, coding is literally retraining your brain. So you're rewiring your brain, which will make you far more capable mentally. So you just got to give yourself time and realize that, it's a process. And then one day, this is how it's going to be. You're going to be confused about what a function is, what a return type is, for example. And then one day you wake up after a week of confusion. You go, oh, now I understand. It's so easy. And then you'll be into recursion. What's recursion? I don't understand recursion. You'll be looking at the code. You want to understand it. What you got to do is you got to write the code, even if you don't understand it, make the mistakes, break it, get it to work. And then one day you'll wake up in the morning and you go, wow, I understand it. It's really like that. So the key is just to be persistent. That's why I suggest that 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week. Oftentimes that 20 minutes becomes an hour. But if you just do that 20 minutes a day, even if it only turns out to be 20 minutes a day, you're making progress and you're slowly training your brain. The more you expose your brain to code and coding, the more quickly it's going to start rewiring itself, so it becomes second nature for you. I hope that helps. All right. We'll end with Todd Boothby. He's doing the Lizard Wizard Komodo. I asked the girl if I could have half price. I forgot to add coffee. That's the best comment of the night. Cheers. I take no responsibility if you get in trouble. Don't do that. He's still in high school, young guy. Very cool, man. That's cool. I automated hours away of Excel work I had to do on my project using Python Cilium. That's great. Again, you just got to add it to your resume and start looking for small projects you might do where you apply those skills. All right. Cheers. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll let you guys go, an hour and 10 minutes. And I will be streaming tomorrow afternoon around 2 p.m. New York time. So for people in Europe, it will be a little earlier. And that's about it. So thanks. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content. And tell your mothers about it and your sisters and all your friends. And we shall talk soon. Ciao.